This Miss Inisa, and I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard. Blah!
I'm so loyal, I stay with you on the sinking shit. A lot of niggas be counterfeit, only with you for your benefit.
All right, everybody, we have the beautiful Miss Inisa, who is the mother of the late Scarfo Da Plug, and she is jumping off the porch with us today. How are you feeling?
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm feeling good, Honored to be here.
We are excited to have you, girl.
Okay, let's go.
All right, now Scarfo, he was definitely one of them ones when it came to music and the rap game in general.
Yes.
But just to take it to the beginning, what was it like raising him and then just watching him climb up in his career?
Wow. So raising him, he was full of energy from day one. Well, let me give a backstory. Scarfo came out stillborn for 7 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Wrapped up in the cord, 48 hours of labor and pain. So when he came back, when God revived him, I said, oh wow, he's gonna be special. So they told us, well, he might not grow, his brain might not develop right. I was said no, and I prayed daily. Me and Pops, we didn't believe that. So he came here with a message and a mission
right.
from the beginning, basically.
Right? No, yeah.
So full of energy, super creative, genius from a baby. Probably was talking from 8 months. I can remember, full conversations and analytically thinking at 3. I'm like, okay. So he, being the eldest of the crew, we kind of grew together. Like, I believe I was learning from him from day one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was so special. Like, I was learning his will to push through. I was learning from day one. And I was a young mom,
How old were you when you had him?
I was only 20.
20, yeah.
I was 20. I was young, I thought I was grown.
Mm-hmm.
But, I had a high school sweetheart, and we walked it out, and we started young. We thought we was gonna eat kisses.
Right.
For lunch and breakfast and dinner.
And he was the firstborn, right?
Firstborn.
Okay, and how many siblings did he have?
So he has 5 behind him. So he's the oldest of 6. But he was very athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He articulated well, and he always liked to read. So his thing as he got older was read a book. He told his siblings a lot, read a book. So I believe that developed his art of taking his reality and turning it into a story and a message, because he read early, And being a young mom, that was entertainment. That was the entertainment. Like, the library was a major trip when you budget in a certain way. So the library became read a book, take a trip. And so, it was amazing in a nutshell.
Right.
It was amazing raising him.
Now, when you discovered that he wanted to be a rapper and have a rap career, what was your initial thoughts?
Well, because it didn't start off as rap.
Mm-hmm.
Truly at 9, he wrote his first song.
Wow.
And it was more rockish, right?
Really?
It was more rockish in the house. It was a hook. It was just a hook.
Uh-huh.
But it was catchy. And I had already had maybe 2 siblings already. Mm-hmm. So we were all singing the hook.
So y'all already knew the words?
Every day, every night. He said, I lost my $1 million. It makes me wanna holler. What? That was the first song.
Where did he get that from?
We don't know. He was 9.
9.
So
wow.
As a mother, truth be told, as a mother, you can see the strengths and the weaknesses early. So it didn't start off as rap. I'll say that. So he developed through a few genres because we love music. In our house, it was music. So he would hear anything from the Temptations to rock to country, any hip hop. I'm like a pop. I like pop on the low. Hip hop, 90s music. So we're a music family. Mm-hmm. So I was like, wow. So he went through his development of genres, and he wrote hooks from 9. Dad was pushing the ball, you know, he played a lot of sports, so it was like football, football. And I was like, you know, you're good with numbers, be an accountant, you know, like.
Yeah, I'm already knowing.
You know, so I was, you know, I'm that mom, I'm like, you know, let's try to suppress what we see going on here. Like he would take his allowance and go to stores and imitate Tupac and buy his, you know, he would put on his Tupac and his Chuck, you know, he was a unique kid. So, and he was making his own money very young. And so because I promote entrepreneurship, I support it 100%. He knew how to, early, I don't even know who gave him the ideas. He knew how to sell candy at school. He knew how to borrow the lawnmower and go cut the grass, even if he could just do one and make $40. You know, he knew how to play Madden and bet on the game. So he was making money really young, no matter how much I tried to keep him busy or after school or church, or this kid was full of energy.
Right. And you know, as a parent, like, you never stop worrying, even when they get older. It's always a worry. What would you say with him, even when, like, you know, of course he started to figure out life on his own? What was your biggest worry when it came to that?
Spirit of greed. Spirit of greed. You know, we get tricked. So even as a child, the thing I used to say, control your flesh. You know, just with the overeating, and he was little. He was always little in his metabolism, and and he worked out. So, but I used to say, you know, you're not hungry. Just control your flesh. Learn. So I saw early that he always needed more. You know, he could finish a book this thick, and he's like, oh man, let's go get the next one. So it was never like, oh man, I just read that 500-page book. Woo, that was a good story. He never paused early. So when he decided to be a rapper, of course, you know, because he was a traditional A model student, graduated on time from MLK on the East Side here in Atlanta, and went to college. I'm like, look, education is your way out, brother. You don't like what's going on over here,
right? Yeah.
How I'm doing it. Education is your way out. But I don't. He went to Kennesaw State. You know, you leave my house, you're gonna leave with a proper plan. That's my goal. But what you do with the opportunity, I can't be there all 24/7, right? So I think the biggest worry was greed.
Greed is a really big thing, and I think we see it. It's so much more in our face now, because of social media and just the current state that we're living in. And just from your perspective, when it comes to greed, where do you feel it often like leads someone?
Possibly to your demise. That's the ultimate, to your demise. And so learning that this, you know, Nipsey said it best, this is a marathon, right? So if you can learn that early, you'll be grateful in every part of the journey, right? And so sometimes, even if you feel like you got your greed under control, then you get tricked, right? Because then you might want it faster. You might want a shortcut, right? That's still like a level of greed to a degree, because you're trying to shortcut through some of the process. I need it now. So just, I think, growing up with the pressure of being the oldest of a family that just kept growing, right? And me and my husband, a high school sweetheart, we weren't always in sync on one page throughout the process, but he stuck through his family. But for the most part, Nasia, better known to y'all as Scarfo, would be that older sibling when dad needed to take a trip or go away to college, or, you know, whatever circumstances. He would always try to stay on top of his schoolwork and help out around the house best he could. So that puts pressure, right?
Right.
So and under pressure, diamonds are made under pressure, right? Diamonds are made under pressure, because even in my pain, I'm proud of his perseverance, because it really speaks to how he came in the world fighting, and he kind of left out fighting for what he believed, you know? which was to really break poverty off his people's back. Because I've been self-sufficient, and he learned from a hustler mom. But when I say hustler, I just mean able to juggle many things at one time, right? Right? And being an entrepreneur, there was a perseverance that I had to carry that he learned from, right? So I'm proud of the fight that he even went out with, basically. You know, we can probably touch on the whole unfolding, but everything in between just took hard work to stay focused, because he was in a position that he was born into and didn't ask for.
Now, as a mother, when would you say you finally accepted the fact that your son wanted to go all in with his rap career?
Girl, I can remember it like yesterday. So, boom. It was high schoolish. All right, we had moved. Okay, so we're here by way of New York, right? I came here in the 90s. He was only 3. And early getting here, we went to New Orleans, right? There was just opportunity at the time. And me being an entrepreneur, I followed the opportunity. But this felt like, because my family had kind of begun to settle here through the 90s and early 2000s, this was home. So when we came back for high school, we did a little stint in New Orleans. So that's why in some of the raps he'll rap New Orleans, because there was a level of our grow up there, right? We came back to Atlanta. This thing in New Orleans, when it was elementary and junior high, he was okay. He had his pen pals. He had like a junior high sweetheart that wound up being wifey, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Pen pals. I don't know how it even happened, but we get back to Atlanta, and he's like, Ma, that's why I'm gonna be a rapper, and I'm marrying my white girl. And he said it in an argument. He said it in an argument because he knew I didn't like rap. And I wanted him to go off to college and soar the world before you're talking about who you're marrying, because I married young, right? So he goes, I'm marrying my girl. And he was like 16. I was like...
He said he already knows.
I was like, what?
He already knows.
I was like, you're gonna be a rapper? And I didn't even know of the girlfriend at the time, because I was busy like putting life back together from the transition to moving from New Orleans back to Atlanta. I had no idea about the girlfriend. He had a car, young, so he was able to date, and they worked their relationship, and he wound up marrying her. Basically, he knew what he wanted early. I mean, you know, common law married, but we have a beautiful blessing at the end of it. So he knew what he wanted at 16. And I knew if I didn't support my child, I could possibly lose him, and lose him in a different way. Not him leaving his body. I knew that because of the fight he had in him, he might leave home early if I didn't just, okay, if this is what you want to do, I'm driving you to the studio. Where you going? I'm sitting outside. You're going to write in the house. We're paying for 1 hour. You're going to do your 1 hour. I'm outside. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm sending you in an Uber. The Uber's waiting for you because you got 1 hour. You've been writing all week. So I kind of let him see the business side of it. And I think that's what allowed him to get so much done. Like, he has a slew of work in his small stint of his career. He has so many unreleased jewels that we found that hopefully we will be rolling out on Scarfo Sunday soon. I've been working behind the scenes as well as with my other hand. My hands are full, y'all, truth be told.
I love that you're still carrying his legacy with his music.
I wrestled with what we're gonna do, right? So it's been a year and some change, and I wrestled with it, and I asked the husband and the family, I'm like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do with this body of work that he left behind? And we have a baby now that that needs to know him, right? So it took a while because we had to deal with the passing of Nazir. Nazir, when he began to develop his, I don't want to say character, because we grow and we change. Seasons of life we change, right? So, but to me as a mother, I see Nazir and then I see Scarfo, right?
Right.
So like when I'm working out and I need money motivation, I could put on Scarfo and separate, and I can listen to the words And I could separate Nazir, the baby. Is oh, look at you know, I can now. And it took some time to get there, and I'm still not 100% there. Like, we were undecided, but I do want to I decided, okay, look, we have to learn how to take the negative and turn it to a positive. The route in which he taken, maybe every step wasn't good, but let's do the plug center. He came to me since his passing and said, Ma, create something called the Plug Center. Allow it to be an entrepreneur hub for children from the ages of 8, when he first heard his first song,
Wow.
to 24. And the vision seemed bigger than what I want to handle, because I'm a hairstylist that's still working. I'm in school, you know, I'm a natural healer. I do other things on my own. So when I got the vision, I said, okay, this is bigger than me, so how do I do this? So I had to sit on it. Now we're coming up on 2 years, and I'm hearing the Spirit is nudging me, because hip hop is at a horrible state right now. My heart goes out to every mother that's in this club that we didn't ask to be in. You know, I send my condolences to every mother that's dealing with this pain. And there's so many in the past 90 days to name, but as a mother, my heart, it's just a club you don't ask to be in.
As a mother being a mother of a very well-known rapper, and, you know, witnessing his impact just for it to be taken away, how does that make you feel?
I'm human, so I'm angry. You know, I'm really angry. And I have to talk myself off the anger ledge every morning. Every morning, I have to remind myself of the promises of God. Every morning, I have to know that the impact was for the season it was for, and everybody has a date that they leave their body. I have to tell myself that every day, right? I want to do, because I have 5 other children that are very art inclined, it's hard to, when something's in you and not on you, it's hard to just turn your back from it.
Right.
Right? So there's like a unseen pressure to take the path that he blazed and the relationships that he made and make them count. You know, he had a song, Make It Count, you know, so I feel that pressure from the Spirit. So if we can create something that empowers young boys so that we can alleviate jealousy, anger, because there's certain energies and spirit control that allow you to want to kill someone that looks like you. I'm in pain with the thought of every artist falling too soon has been taken at the hands of someone that looks like them.
It's the jealousy, anger, rage.
Right. So I'm like, how do we alleviate that and minimize that? We cannot heal everyone, but it comes from a level of generational trauma that our brown boys are dealing with. You know, these artists, I don't like to just say rappers, because some of them have a lot of other artsy, you know, inclinations in them. So I feel like a rapper is just a small bubble of probably this magnificent body of art, you know. Most of them write, probably some of them sketch, and, you know, so I want to take this Plug Center vision. I have a brick and mortar location for my beauty salon in the Northeast Cumberland area of Atlanta. It's in a professional building, and I'm looking to get a space within that building to be able to allow children to come and be empowered, right? If you have in your hand skills that can feed you, maybe we can alleviate some of the jealousy. Because if you value yourself more, you will see value in your brother.
Wow. I completely agree with you because, you know, now we're in a state where a lot of the younger kids are looking up to so many different rappers, and the ones that they are looking up to, they're losing their lives to gun violence. And it's like, where does it end? Like, when do we break that curse off of them?
Right. We have to help us. Hip hop has to help hip hop. We have to fix what we've allowed to develop, this poison that's running through our community, right? Because not even so much artists. It happens on a level that doesn't get publicized, right?
You're right,
So I think the only way to do it is to catch them early, right? And I'm looking to partnership with small businesses in the area that will come and teach coding and barbershop and beauty introduction and crafting and painting. And so you feel good about yourself when you can create. We're here to create, right? And I think the the ego measuring, you know, the ego measuring, if you had 5 skills and your brother has 6, you wouldn't feel so quick to have to measure the ego.
Right.
Right? That part. If you really knew how to write, you know, and understood the foundation of writing, and you were just not spitting nonsense, you wouldn't be mad when you're in the studio and you hear somebody that truly knows how to tell a story.
Right.
But that's just because they understand the basis of how to write. So I want this entrepreneur hub to help develop those type of skills, right? Because then you build confidence. And a lot of this is not going on at the home because mommy gotta work, bruh.
Right.
Daddy not always there, bruh. You might be cooking noodles for 2, 3, 4 of your siblings and trying to figure out, damn, what I'm gonna wear to school tomorrow, because you in high school and you feel pressure. So if you had a place where people could come dress you for success, like I really want this to be a serious movement where if I can get other rappers and artists involved to donate to a Dress for Success closet, things, you know, you'll have an overabundance of material things, you know? And some of these children are killing because they don't look material-wise the way their brother looks. And they wanna be in a room with their brother. You know, or they can't talk and get a deal done the way their brother can. And then envy, you know?
Right.
So I don't know, man. I don't know, sis.
It's gonna happen, and I feel like whoever watches this interview, you know, we gonna pray that God brings the right people to this interview, and you will be able to create that creative space for kids so they can have an outlet to finally do and pursue the dreams that they want to and not feel like nobody's listening or nobody's watching them.
Right.
You know, because I think that's a big thing. It's like, in school, they teach us, you know, like science, history, math, things like that. But it's like, what about the kids who see themselves being like in tech, or like the kids who see themselves as an artist or a fashion designer?
Fashion designer.
Yes.
Yeah, and then that means their left brain strong, right? They're not gonna fit in this cookie cutter mold, right? So I think part of it, mothers that can, we should take our kids' education into our own hands so that you could develop the whole person. You know, math and science are very important, but as far as history, I believe you should equip your children with certain books so that they can know self. You can understand why they beat the way they beat, because trying to learn the cookie cutter education, it just don't work all the time.
Right, and
then kids drop out, and then they angry, and then they got an IEP, and then they fighting, you know, and it's all because they're not really learning the way their brain may learn. Which may be art, more creative.
Right.
They might need to touch school, and it doesn't support that. So that's part of the problem too. And then you have a brown boy that grows up feeling misunderstood because he's an artist that's caged, can't express themselves.
Right. Now with Scarfo, what would you say is like one memory of him that you wanted to just snatch him up and kick his butt?
What? So I think he actually told the story sitting here for the first time.
On the porch, yep.
Yes, baby. So I'm like, where is this kid going every day after school? He just come in. I'm like, you don't have no homework? I did it already. And then I turn around and he's gone. One day, I drove to the gas station for whatever my reason, and I see him. Now, remember, I'm from New York, right? So I see didn't grow up in New York at all. I see him standing on the side. I just saw the stance, like you just holding something. And I'm like, what are you doing? So he was telling me, I think I did get him to say where he was going, and he told me he was selling dollar CDs. He used to do CDs. And and so this dude was selling more than dollar CDs.
And you caught him.
And I caught him, basically.
Wow.
Short version.
What was his reaction?
I said, boy, if you don't get your ass home right now. So he gets home, and okay, so this is the thing. I love flowers. Always, so I just heard, now don't be hypocritical, in my head, right? I heard that in my head. So I felt like I wanted to, boy, we about to box. The F you doing? I worked too hard for you to have to not do certain things. What are you doing? And it boiled down in high school, you just want designer on your feet. He said that in a few songs too. That's how it started. He just wanted some designer, and I said, boy, I'm not spending $600 on a pair of shoes. That's just not what we're doing.
Right.
That's 6 pairs of shoes.
No, for real, like that's some Vans, some Chucks.
So I suppose, yeah.
That's some Nikes.
So, I just decided to give him a talk and say, look, this is what's gonna happen. A lot of people wind up dead or in jail if they make this their life. I was very frank. I grew up in the 90s, a time that we'll never see again. But I saw a lot. Whether it be through TV, outside community, stories. I saw, the 90s was a unique time. So I'm telling him, you cannot beat this. You can't beat this. So, yeah, that's definitely one. Oh, then he used to try to yell, Of course, he was real bullheaded early. In a positive way, though, because he just knew what he wanted.
Right.
He just knew what he was. He was not disrespectful at all. But when he wanted to get his point across, he would, and he would have to puff up,
Right.
I'm a man, So he would give me that. But it was all good. I was like, I'm the coolest mom. I was the coolest mom to him.
Right.
Because we grew up together,
It's like that with the oldest. It is.
You learn. You become a different mom. Every child has a different version of me. You grow, you develop.
And with Scarfo, if you don't mind me asking, like during the last moments of you seeing him present, did you ever in your mind get like the mother's intuition, like, something is not right?
So I was in tune with Scarfo the whole career. I knew when things were turning left and right. I would have dreams. I would know when anything, who he needed to not be around, and I would know. So about a month before, I had a gut feeling. The baby was just born. We got a day of rose to Ferris, right? That beautiful baby. And I felt like, you're working too hard. You got to take some time and smell the roses. This started because you wanted design on your feet. You wanted to change your zip code. I'm like, bro, you changed your zip code. You changed your zip code. Take a month off. I said, you need a month. I said, you're getting blinded by the bling. I remember the day. We stood in the living room. He said, nah, Ma. I'm gonna take some, I got some real money about to come. I'm gonna take some time off then. I told him, I'll pay for it. Find an Airbnb. You, Haley, and the baby, just go. Right? There's always signs. I serve God. I love God. So there was never a time God will leave you in the dark. You will get warning before any destruction or anything that's coming, catastrophic, that's coming your way. And I'm a mother that regardless of what it looks like, I pray constant. I mean, that's the only way I could really be out here walking, trying to raise 6 children with the talent that just was given in my hands, and a little book knowledge here and there that I'm applying, but for the most part, it was faith. It's faith. For the most part, the short version. So yeah, I knew. And if he would have taken that month and took me up on that offer, it would have put him past his transition date. It would have put him past his transition date. And he told me no. And then my husband says to me, well, he says to me after it happened that I said to him that day, I think I should prepare my heart. I don't remember saying that in particular.
This was before.
Yes.
Okay.
The day I told him, take a break, son. I feel like you're getting blinded by the bling. He said, nah, Ma, what you talk about? Nobody getting blinded by no bling. I don't know what, I got this. He said, I got this. My second son had been in prison for 3 years, the irony of it. They were both young when Scarfo had his prison bid, both the boys went. And he said, when Zay come home, when Zay was coming home, I'm gonna take some time. We're gonna take some trips. We're gonna take some time. That's what he told me. Scarfo transitioned 3 days before Zay came home. So I knew, but I didn't know. You know, it's like, man.
You don't want to, like, you don't
want to accept that could be happening, but it's like, man, you're moving too fast. Slow down, bruh.
But as a mother, it's like, like you just, the mother's intuition.
I kind of was like, man, he's speeding. I still didn't want to say it. But the dad reminded me after he left, he says, you said that day, I'm going to prepare my heart. Yeah. Yeah. I just feel, he didn't deserve it the way it came. It was betrayal. Yeah.
And with your grieving, like, what has been giving you the strength to continue and keep going and to push his legacy?
Well, first I got to give honor to God. He's the head of my life, right? I wrestle with flesh, but God is the head. My baby girl, the gift, he sent a gift. A Day of Rose was 10 months when he left. So having her energy is so similar to him.
Right.
My husband, the family, we've been together. The family's been getting through it. Haley's played an awesome role in keeping the family together as far as keeping the baby in touch with us as much as we want. She's been awesome and strong. So my daughter-in-law, her strength, because watching her have to say, like, she spent a lot of her life with him. They were very young. I was like, wow, you guys been together. Like, they went to both proms. I think they were about 14, right? So her strength to keep going, I was like, wow, I guess I got to keep busy, I'm learning from people around me. And I just pray the promises of God. But but when the wrath come, or when I'm angry, or when I just want to talk like, I'm gonna write a book, and I hope that I can get it out. I may have to change some names to protect the legal aspect of some things. But I'm gonna tell the story, what happened in the 6th.
Right.
Because everybody gone. And that's by design too. Because my son was anointed, like, truth be told. He came here with a message. Everybody gone. That's by design. That's by spiritual design. There wasn't, you're not gonna get away with it. It's not unsolved. Within 24 hours, y'all was locked up.
Oh, they solved that within 24 hours?
It's not solved yet. We waiting on a trial. But it's by design. Because he came to me and said, Mommy, they all gonna get it anyway. And they gonna die with the Judas mark. So that's worse off. Dying with a Judas mark, dying as a betrayal that you did that to your brother? Oh man, you did that to your brother? So that's what I want to try to turn into the positive of, how do we equip you to know you don't be there from day one. There has to be a code. You don't be there from day one and do that to your brother. Nah, under no circumstances is it okay. Fuck that. So when I get in that mode, like when I get in the when I get in that mode, Pop's gotta be like, roll up. He'd be like, Give her something. Give her a
Not
tea.
give her something.
Give her.
But you know, you are human and you lost your son.
Oh,
and
man.
you're here to spread the message. And it's like, you just can't help but to feel it because you know as a mother, your son did not deserve that.
Well, he just wanted everybody to eat. That was
Right.
the thing. He wanted everybody to eat, even down to the details of the situation that caused his demise. You know, he had other options where he could have gotten his ultimate, whatever he was, I think it was a watch. It was like a watch that they lured him to the left with, you know, which means my gut when I said, you know, bro, you're getting blinded by the bling.
That was,
All he had to do was work. You know, he had just signed a deal. The label was getting ready to push him. The album only came out 100 days before he left. Trap Jesus was released under a deal that he had gotten that was hopefully gonna, you know, take his career to another level. I didn't want that for him, you know. I wanted him to always stay independent. I used to tell him, like, don't sign nothing.
right, yeah.
I used to tell him that. I used to say, it feels like when artists sign, something just happens different, right? So I watched the label trying to dress him up in this red suit and redo videos that they had already did, you know, and a little fancy advance, which really didn't, you know, I just gave him some more outfits. I mean, it didn't really change too much, but he thought it was gonna help him get to another level. So it
Right.
caused him to be away from his nucleus more, being over there.
Now, what is it that you would want people to know about your son?
Man, you know, he was very respectful and he walked with a lot of love, you know. His thought was, if we can level up together, we'll be better off, right? So if he had a way to make money that was gonna put food on your table, he was gonna share it with you, you know. He respected his mom. He was an awesome big brother, you know. He was gonna be a magnificent father. And I believe he still is, because she wakes up sometimes like he came in a dream. And she tells us this.
Wow.
She's been talking since 10 months, this baby.
Oh, wow.
She is amazing. So she has his spirit, you know. And I just, y'all gotta think, man, because y'all don't know the effect that it does on a community and a collective and a whole family when you take a situation and make it permanent, you know. But he was a good kid. He loved his mom, though, man. I can't even lie. If he loved you, you was gonna get your flowers
Yeah.
while he was here. That's for anybody. But as a mom, I can say, you know, he never disrespected me and he honored his grandma. You know, he just was like an old school kid. Like, they don't make him no more like him.
Right.
He was good. Home at a decent time every night, regardless. Dinner, football on Sundays. He came out of character. You know, it was just a good, he was human. He just chased after his dream. And he didn't let no stop him.
Right.
So that's what made him different, you know? He was focused and he did the most with his time. He did, and I learned from him. Because I sometimes wrestle with my tardy.
Right.
And I learned from him about make the day count.
Right.
Get up if you up at 40 use the bathroom, stay up, make your day count. You know, and I wouldn't always have that until I used to be like, man, how you get so much done? I mean, I know you're young and you got more energy, but how do you get it done? So he made the most of his day.
Now, Miss Inisa, what is next for the legacy of Scarfo Da Plug?
Right. So we got some music coming, right? He has a catalog worth releasing. So we're gonna do a series of singles on Sundays, Scarfo Sundays. He had started to try to make that a tradition where he wanted to feed and give back on Sundays and release a single. So we're gonna pick that back up for sure. He had merch ideas and visions that he was starting as well. So we're gonna kind of really put in play all the things that he started, first off. And then for the state of hip hop in itself, me as a mother, as well as a family, I believe we've all decided that the Plug Center is going to be a good idea. A writing incubation center, entrepreneur development with curriculum per se, the mindset of what it takes. You know what, and I began to get confirmation after I heard that was really where to start. People begin to inbox me after his passing saying, will you manage me? Mm-hmm. Can you show me what you taught him? And I just broken. I'm like, man, this is crazy. What are these people talking about? I just was a mother to him. I just want to support it. I want to see you win. I want to see you win. I just wanted to see him win. Mm-hmm. If he would have told me whatever he wanted to do, I would have just wanted to see him win. So that's really what's next. And then we just got to walk it out day by day, because I really don't know. I'm still waiting on a trial. So I don't know what will come out of it, Mm-hmm. Of course, in my heart, I would love for a story to be told on the big screen. I would love for 50 Cent or somebody, shout me out.
Girl, you manifesting it here on the porch.
Yeah, let's go. I'm waiting for somebody to come take the story and let's turn the lesson into the positive, mm-hmm. how we have to stop the betrayal. We can't keep killing ourselves within our own community. And from a mother's perspective, we are nurturers. So if we can nurture boys that don't have the mothers to get the nurturing and the support, I would love to do that.
Right.
I would love to do that. Women too, not just boys, but it just feels like, they're leaving here.
Yes, that.
They're leaving here.
And it's so unfortunate, but all we can do is just take this and create positive outlets for them.
That's what I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm. And so you got it.
Yeah, that's what we were writing a book. Scarfo and I were writing a book together, a poetry book. So I want to finish that. That will roll out early 2023. So just playing with some creative ideas to see what we can do with what he left behind. So y'all look forward to it. I do have a GoFundMe link that I'll probably put in the comments of this video to help us get the initial soft fundraising done to get the Plug Center launched. We'll need computers. We'll need small love offering and salaries to partner with expertise in certain areas to come in and coach and teach our children. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the build out of that. I'm excited about that.
All right, Miss Inisa, do you have any last words or shout outs before we wrap up?
I just want to shout out all the love that I received in the passing and the condolences. I wasn't able to get to everybody, but I just want to shout y'all out for holding us up holding the family up in your prayers. We thank you. And just look forward to us, we're going to turn this into something good. The negative, we have to. We got to fix us. Who's going to fix us? We got to fix us. So I hope y'all undergird this mission, support it. Let's get these children off the streets. Let's give them some self-worth, some value. I'm gonna get that music out to y'all, because he got some words and some one-liners that if you really listen, you can get a lot of lessons, right? And those were things that were given from passed down, and I'm like, wow, I hear my father in that. I hear this one, that was in that book. So just want to teach the other children how to maximize their talent. And don't kill each other, y'all. We got to stop the violence. We got to put the guns down. It's just crazy, man. But this is Inisa. I just jumped off the porch with Dirty Glove Bastard.
I'm so loyal, I stay with you on the sinking shit. A lot of these niggas be counterfeit. Only with you for your benefits. UPS, we a syndicate.